Testing 1 2 3, testing 1 2 3. Alright, first of all kita akan try mic dulu ya, sekejap ya. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Oh. Alright, testing 1 2 3. Hi.
Hi.
Okay, that's good, I think.
Okay, I'm gonna try and remove the earphones and then
Alright.
tell me if you can hear it clearly.
But before that, hello?
Can you hear me?
Not so clear. I think it's better you plug in the microphone. I mean the
Okay, is
earphone.
it better now?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay.
How about you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Alright, so let me ask the audience. Alright, guys, can you hear us? Do we have any, microphone problems or anything? Okay, we wait for them to respond.
Okay. You were having some technical difficulties.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's good. Everyone is good. All right, thank you guys for responding. Okay, we just want to make sure that there is no double voice during our conversation. I think that's the most critical problem. All right. Inshallah, can we start right now? Are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
All
Let's
right.
start.
Okay. First of all, assalamualaikum and a very good evening, to all of you, to our guest of speaker followers. Hi, I'm Sharid. I'm Sharid Sohaimi. You guys can call me Sharid. And actually, tonight we are so blessed because we have such a great speaker here with us, Tayyiba Sharif, psychologist by profession. All right, welcome to our slot, which is I call it Stay Connected. Okay, because during this pandemic, we need to stay connected with everyone, despite of the social distancing and that kind of COVID-19 issue. But I'm pretty sure everyone in this world, we need to stay connected each other so that we can cope anything. So inshallah, today we will discussing on the mental health during COVID-19. So with us, I think she is the most reliable person to talk to us about this topic because she is a psychologist and I'm just the host for tonight. So, all right, Tayyiba Sharif, can you introduce yourself to us? What are you doing right now? Where are you from? All right, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. So you mentioned that I'm the most reliable person for this topic, but that is not true. I'm just going to share my views and opinions and knowledge here. And obviously, it's not something that it's not like a one-size-fits-all solution. But if it helps people, well and good. So that's the main aim here. I'm currently studying professional counseling. I'm doing my master's, and I'm from Tanzania. So for those of you who don't know where that is, it's in Africa. If you don't know where that is, then you really need to check on your geography.
All right, I just want to ask. Okay, actually, when I first met Tayyiba, I'm quite shocked. She's from Tanzania because before this, I heard about the Tanzania, which is the place very beautiful. One of the place is Serengeti, the place where the wild animals, just across your walkway, just like that. And that's the most beautiful because I love the nature.
Yeah, we're very famous for the wildlife.
But can you share which in Tanzania, which I mean like specific district that you live? Maybe you can share.
So I come from a town called Arusha.
Arusha.
Again, not many people know about it, but it's just very close to the capital city.
Oh, I see.
But it's a small town, and now it's developing a bit, so I'd like to call it a
Wow.
city. But yeah, if anyone ever gets a chance, welcome.
All right. In Tanzania, can you share more about the size? I mean, when we compare to Malaysia, is it Tanzania the big as Kuala Lumpur, or maybe you can share
I
a little
think
bit?
I think it's much bigger than that.
Oh.
Personally, like Arusha isn't so big, but if you talk about Tanzania in general, it's very vast because it has so much of land, and I personally haven't been to so many places, so you can imagine just how big it is. I'm sure I've
Yeah.
covered more of Malaysia than I have of Tanzania.
All right, thank you for sharing about
Yeah.
your place. Okay, so we go into the COVID-19 issue. How's the situation in Tanzania about the COVID-19?
Currently, it's okay. It's not too bad. The cases are still manageable, but I feel that the way the citizens themselves are handling the situation isn't that great. And I think, like being in Malaysia, I feel so much more safe because a lot of precautions are being taken here, which is not happening back in my country. So
I see.
it's quite worrying. It's terrifying because you know your life is literally in the hands of other people, and
Yes,
if they're
that's
not
right.
going to follow the necessary precautions, then you know what else can you even do? So yeah, it's really frightening, and I'm just so glad that I'm here and not there.
All right, so
Yeah.
hopefully your family and everyone who are living there are doing better, inshallah. All right,
Inshallah.
so let's get to the topic for today.
Okay.
Okay, all right, Tayyiba, how and why the pandemic increasingly affecting us psychologically?
I think first and foremost, the main reason why this pandemic is affecting us is because we didn't see it coming. It's not something that's common for us. It's not normal for us. And it's like, you know, just being thrown into the middle of the ocean when you don't know how to swim. So it's something that just came out of the blue. And I think a lot of us thought that, you know, it's not going to touch us. And then slowly, when the cases started rising, we started becoming more alert that, okay, oh my God, this is real. This is going to affect us. And if not today or tomorrow, it's either us or one of our loved ones is going to catch it. So that fear, that anxiety is one of the main reasons that we're being psychologically affected. Secondly, I think it's because a lot of us had planned out this year in a very different way. A lot of us had plans and goals, and we wanted to travel to different places. And suddenly that being taken away from us is creating a lot of frustration, anger.
Yeah.
And the problem is not that we're experiencing all these emotions, it's that we don't know how to channel them.
Yes, that's right.
So that is why it's taking a toll on us. It's affecting us mentally, and now we just don't know what to do with all these emotions, and it's overwhelming because we're not used to being in this situation. And so being unable to accept the situation also leads to not being able to change our mindset towards it. Yeah, so it's sort of like the fear of the unknown. It's like there's so much uncertainty around us, and the virus itself is something that's invisible. So how do you protect yourself from something that you cannot even see?
All right.
Yeah.
So when you talk about the thing that we cannot see, despite of health, we have this kind of mental health issue. Rather than we fighting with the real health. I mean like the actual that we can see with our naked eye, and what we need to prepare, what we need to do during this MCO. And recently the MCO already rebrand with the CMCO.
Yeah.
So what do you think about it?
So in my opinion, I think this applies to any other problem that you have in life, but I'm going to relate it back to our current situation, which is COVID-19. And I think the main issue that we're failing to do as humans is that we're not able to accept what has happened. We're not able to accept that, okay, this has happened and it's affecting us and things are going to change for us. We're not willing to come out from our comfortable lives and face what's ahead of us. And I think when we just try and sit with our emotions and try and understand what our emotions are telling us, we'll be in a much better position to cope with this situation. So every emotion that you go through, it tells you something. So as humans, we have this thing, like if we're angry, we'll try and like suppress it or get rid of it. But that's, in my opinion, I think that's wrong. I think we should really sit with our emotions and think, okay, what is this anger trying to tell me? Does it serve a purpose? What am I supposed to do with it? The second thing I'd say is that we cannot control what's happening, right? The outbreak is there, the virus is there. We cannot change, you cannot change that. But what is it that we can change? We can change our mindset.
Yes.
And that is something that's within our control, but it will only happen if we take control of it. So I think where we are going wrong is that we allow our mind to control us instead of we controlling our mind. So I think a change of mindset is very important. We have to learn how to talk to ourselves properly, especially in this situation. If we keep telling ourselves, you know, it's horrible what has happened, we'll never get out of it. Imagine if you were telling this to someone else. Would they like to hear what you're saying? So just the way you'd want to talk to someone else in a nice way, in a positive way, try and doing that to yourself first. And be gentle with the way you talk to yourself.
Yes. All right. Yes?
Yeah, go on.
Okay.
Go on, you were saying something.
All right. Okay, guys, if you have any question you want to ask to us, you can just drop on the comment below and we'll try to read and answer your question. Okay, recently you talked about we need to talk to ourselves. Before this, like yesterday, I just made a poll at my story, Instagram story. I say that what do you do if you hate someone? So there's three choices of the answer. The first one is ignore, and the second one is you block them, and then the second one you forgive. So the majority answer ignore. So
Okay.
in my opinion, if the person or like you said, we need to talk, we need to communicate to the person. So that is how we can ease or we can manage the issue. I think is it correct?
Yeah, because I think that when you try and ignore, you're again ignoring that emotion of hatred. So even if you ignore it, at some point in your life, it is going to come back to you. So why not address it? Obviously, it depends based on your circumstances. That's why this is something that is very subjective. It's very general. Everyone's situation is very different. But I mean, when you have such kind of emotions, sit with it and ask yourself, okay, where is this hatred coming from? What is it trying to tell me? And what can I do about it? So try and break it down in those steps and then find your way out. Maybe ignoring that person is just because you don't want so much drama in your life. But you know, your every emotion is trying to tell you something. It does serve a purpose. So try and figure that out and then take necessary steps from that.
Oh, I see. So basically, we need to see the big picture of the situation first, and then we try to sort it according to the solution. Maybe
exactly.
From the three options, ignore, forgive, and the last one is the block. The block. So maybe there is a stage. Maybe we can forgive first, and then if the thing is messed up, so we need to block them. If the thing is still messed up or whatsoever, you just ignore.
Yeah, and you know, when you spoke about forgiveness, you have to remember that when you forgive someone, right, it's not that you're forgiving them because you want them to be in a better place. Before even that, it's because you want to be in a better place. You want to have that peace of mind. So if forgiveness is your way forward, then understand that you're not only doing something good for the other person, you're doing it good for yourself first.
I see, yes. That's right.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful statement, actually. All right.
Thank you.
The next question. How people can cope during this current CMCO? Yes.
Okay, that's a very, very critical question. And before we even talk about how to cope, right, I think it's very important to understand what is your coping mechanism.
Ah,
So like today I could tell you, you know what, Shari, just be positive. But what if being positive is not your way of coping with things, right?
yeah.
So
That's right.
you have to understand what is your way of channeling your negative thoughts, your negative emotions. If I tell you today, okay, you know what, I think that your way of coping is you should have a routine. What if you're not a person who can deal with routines? So it's very subjective. You have to try and figure out for yourself what is your coping mechanism. Now, in
Oh.
such a scenario, I think definitely it really helps to have a routine. But for those of you who cannot have a routine, try and visualize your day as like a pie chart, and then try and divide your time accordingly.
Oh.
So you see, for me, it works better if I tell myself, okay, from 9 to 10, I'm going to study. From 10 to 11, I'm going to like watch a movie. But for you, it could be, okay, during the day, I'm going to focus on work. And then in the afternoon, maybe I'm going to like take a nap. And then in the evening, I'm going to cook. And then at night, I'm just going to relax.
Yeah.
So, try and reintroduce that structure into our lives, because I realized that what has affected us is that we rely so much on our external environment for structure. So just say in the morning, okay, we have to go to uni. So in our mind, it's like 9 to 5, I'll just be
Yeah.
at uni and I'll just do my work there. And then when I come back, all I have to do is sleep, eat, and relax. But now you're just at home. So how do you introduce that structure back into your life? The same with working people. They're used to going to work at like 7 or 8, and they only come back like at 7 or 6. So and now being at home, you're sort of like, okay, but everything is so similar to me. Well, you can make the changes. Who is stopping you? You are in control, right? So try and have like a consistent schedule, like wake up at the same time, sleep at the same time. Try and emphasize on important aspects of your life, like make sure you're exercising daily. And when I talk about exercise, it's not only, I'm not talking about like, okay, go full on 1 hour exercise. I'm only asking you to do like 5 minutes of it. That's all it takes. Start with 5 minutes and then progress gradually, because you'll be amazed at how much of an impact just exercise can have on you. And I know that some people are really like reliant on the gym, but it doesn't mean that because the gym is not available anymore, therefore you cannot exercise. You're just limiting yourself. There's so many videos online that you can follow, and it can be like suitable for your own goals. You want cardio, you want to just relax, you can do yoga. So it's really up to you. And also, I think it's very important to have like a proper sleep schedule. I think our sleep schedules are really, really messed up. Like, especially in Ramadan, like for me, it was really hard to get into a proper sleep schedule. But I'll just emphasize one point here, and that is, it really doesn't matter how many hours of sleep you get. Like we're so like tied up with the idea, get 8 hours of sleep. I don't think 8 hours is necessary, because I could like sleep for 5 hours and I'm still okay. But what's the difference? The difference is your quality of sleep.
Yeah, quality of
So as long as you're getting your quality of sleep, you should be fine. But you have to know this. That's why I said you need to know what is your coping mechanism. And also, of course, sleep, exercise, and of course, start eating the right food. Especially at such a time, we're so tempted to order stuff from outside. But isn't this like the best time for you to test your creativity and your skills? Especially you, Shari, you've been like baking so many things. So I think it's a perfect time to really sharpen our skills and be creative.
Yeah. Okay, actually, when you talk about the baking, I think you're also a food lover, right?
I am. I'm a big food lover.
Because you just set up an Instagram which is just focused on the food, which is called Food Diba, isn't it?
Yes.
So during this pandemic, what you have done? I mean, in terms of baking.
Well, I've been asking you for recipes. But yeah, I have been trying to make different things like brownies, cheesecake, just bake other veggies and just experiment, really. I think it's a perfect time to experiment.
Yes, that's right. Because actually, today I can call experiment my chewy chocolate cookies.
Oh, yum! That sounds good.
that sounds good. But if you see my recent post, the actual one when I see from the YouTube,
Yeah.
it should be like ice cream before we bake it. But
Okay.
it turned out become like like a very very melty.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But when after I bake, alhamdulillah lah, the taste is good. So for me as a beginner, we are not focusing about how the perfect the result is. Actually, we just in terms of baking, I just focus on the taste.
Okay. Yeah, that's amazing. You see, like if you tie that back to our current situation, for you it's the taste that matters, the end result. And for you it's the progress that you make. So relating that back to our situation right now, if you're having a difficult time doing the things that you want to do, just remember what is it that's important to you. So for you, it's not so much about how your cookies came out, but the taste was really good. And for you, it's like you're a beginner, so it was sort of like a sense of achievement for you.
I see.
So similarly, when you are having, like, I know a lot of people are struggling with productivity. It's okay. I mean, you have to realize that we are at such a time when things are not necessarily working out for us in our favor. But what is it? What's important for you? Is it the progress? Is it the end result? So I think those are some really important things to look into.
Recently, I just watched the one of the channel. It's called Nona in TV3. Okay. One of the person that she interviewed is also a baking.
Okay.
A very successful baker is called Mama Sab. She said that it's not who you in the past, it's who you in the present or in the future. That is how you interpret the success or the individual one.
Yeah. That's so true. So true.
All right. Actually, this is only the conversation among us. So we need a question or opinion from our friends here. So guys, if you have any question or any opinion to us, you just drop on your idea on the comment below. I try to scroll down if there is any question. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, hi, assalamualaikum. Oh, there is some of yeah, Mr. Tayyiba, miss you.
I miss you too.
All right. When you talk about the cope mechanism, can you make it a detail? How was it the cope mechanism? Because I think the cope mechanism in terms of individual is very different. So how we want to make it personal to us?
Okay, so in this situation, let's just say that we've been like heavily affected by what's going on, and we are stuck in this loop of anxiety, worry, frustration, anger. So I would say, like, if you find yourself being stuck in this loop, try and break that cycle. You know, the more you dwell into this, like you keep going from, okay, COVID-19 has been affecting me. I'm so worried about it. I don't know what's going to happen. I can't seem to be productive. I've lost my job. I can't go to work. Okay, I can't attend uni. I can't seem to do anything. So the more you dwell in that cycle, the more it's going to affect you. It's like, you know, what you focus on grows. So by breaking that cycle, you have to sort of reintroduce some sort of positivity into your life. So I'll give you an example. There was this time when just few days after the pandemic broke out, I was heavily affected by the amount of information that was coming in through my phone. So I was checking the news so frequently, and it was honestly worrying me so much. And it's funny because, you know, people say, but you're like mental health activist, mental health counselor. You shouldn't be affected by this. Yeah, and I would say, you know, before any of that, I'm human. Right? And so I will feel what I have to feel. And at that point, I was really going through like a loop of anxiety. So I decided to break that cycle. Now, how did I do that? I told myself, you know what, I'm going to start my day right. I'm going to start it off in a calm way. So you know how a lot of us have this habit when we wake up in the morning, first thing we check our phones, or we go read the news, and that is like completely wrong. Like you are starting your day off feeding your mind with all this negative information, because how many times do you log into like a news website and you'll see like happy news? You know, like no news is good news these days. So start your day right. Like, okay, if you're supposed to wake up early and then visualize how you want your day to progress. So I started doing that, and then I made sure that I do not read the news during the day. I'd only assign like a particular time, like, okay, after I've had like say my lunch, I'm going to read the news for just 10 minutes. And then I'm going to forget about it. So it's not so much about like being ignorant about what's going on. Yes, be aware, but don't overload yourself with unnecessary information. Be aware of what's going on, but don't let it affect you in such a way that you keep going back to that loop.
Okay, we have a few questions from our friends. Okay, the first one is from Rina Ribena, 94.
Hi, Rina.
I think this is your friend.
Yeah.
She asked about how to cope with the children during this pandemic.
Dealing with children at such a time is so difficult. Like, I used to work at a special needs center before this, and I just keep wondering, how are these children surviving? It's not easy for the parents, not easy for the children either. But I think if you're a caretaker or if you're a parent, this is your time to be very creative with the kind of activities that you come up for your kids. So set goals for them, like, okay, today I want you to achieve this, but how are you going to do it? Make it fun, make it creative for them. And when it comes to children, it's less about logic, it's more about play.
Yeah.
So try and introduce play into their lives, but in a fun and creative way. And if you're running out of ideas, the internet is bursting with ideas. So go online and see the different activities that are there and try and implement that with your children. Try different ways, because children are very curious and they love experimenting as well.
Yeah.
So while I do realize it could be difficult, but it is worth trying. Like, don't just leave them to be by themselves. They are at your mercy. Like, they're not with their teachers and their friends anymore. Yeah. And even if you have to like video call their friends and stuff, go ahead and do it, because that's how they'll feel connected as well.
I see. Right.
Yeah.
This is how we cope with the children. And I love your sentence, less logic and more play. Yeah. All right. So next question is from correct me if I'm saying this name wrong. Arshana Vershis. Is this right?
Yes,
okay.
It's correct.
How to feel and keep positive during this time?
Okay, so productivity again. I would say it's something that a lot of us have been having a really hard time coping with it. And I think the first and foremost thing, like I told you, acceptance. Accept that we're in a very difficult situation right now, and so if you're feeling less productive, it's totally fine. It's very important to let yourself sit with that first, to accept that it's okay if I'm not productive. But you also have to know where to draw your boundaries. It's not okay if you tell yourself, you know what, I was not productive today, and then tomorrow the same thing, and the day after the same thing. Try and give yourself small goals to achieve during the day. So if you're the kind of a person who can read one book in a day, during this time, tell yourself, I'll read 2 pages, and that's your goal. And when you sort of end of the day, you see that, okay, you managed to do that, you will get a sense of productivity that, okay, it's not that I didn't manage to do anything, at least I read 2 pages. So it's I would say it's very important to be realistic with what you're trying to be productive with. If it's something that is of much importance to you, try and really break it down into the smallest bits you can, and then ask yourself, how much can you achieve today? So like I personally, I'm the kind of person who puts like 10 things in my list, like I have to achieve these 10 things in a day. But during this situation, I literally went down to 5. And then I was like, okay, even if I got that one thing done right, one thing out of 5, for me, it's still like, I got it done. It's an achievement. Wow. We don't give ourselves enough credit for that. We really like look down upon ourselves. Like, instead of focusing on that one thing that you achieved, we'll be like, oh, but I didn't get 4 things done. It's all about changing your mindset. Play with your mind. Don't let your mind control you. So it's all about making that small progress in your life. Take it easy, be gentle with yourself, and it's okay if you don't manage to do it today. Give yourself another try tomorrow. And if things are still not working, then try and change your approach towards it. Like I said, if a routine is not working for you, then try and divide your time accordingly.
Okay, right. Thank you for the answer. All right, you said about the book. Okay, can you share some book that you read for the time being?
I'm currently reading The Diary of Anne Frank.
Anne Frank. Wow.
Yeah, have you read that?
I'm not yet, but I can say I frequently see the book, but from what I know, there's a lot of version about the book.
Okay.
Because the actual book is from the World War, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there's a few version already come out. So if you want to read, so I didn't know, is it the actual version or the revised version?
I'm not sure either. I didn't know that there were different versions of it. But okay, I'm honestly not sure which version I'm reading, but I'm just really enjoying it because she writes about her entire story through a diary, literally. What we in this day and age call journaling.
Yeah.
And which again sort of ties back to our current conversation. Like if you're struggling, try and journal your thoughts, just like she did. And it's amazing to read like the things that she was going through, and no one knew about it until the book was published.
Yes. I think she wrote the book. I think she is small at that time.
Yeah.
So how the books influence people in this such a time. All right. So there's a question. Okay.
Go ahead.
There's a question from Valentine us. Domestic abuse is constantly rising in Malaysia. What are the steps to cope with an abusive partner?
Sorry, what's the question?
About the domestic abuse. Okay, currently.
Domestic.
Yeah. So how to? What is the steps to cope with an abusive partner?
Okay. So yeah, we all know that unfortunately, the situation has resulted in like a high number of people going through domestic abuse, and I would say that try and reach out to people who are really focusing on helping people overcome domestic abuse. Like, I don't know if you know of WAO, Women's Aid Organization. They're playing a big role in trying to help people who are suffering from domestic abuse. So if it's within your capacity, I would say try and reach out to these people because they will have a huge impact and they will be able to advise you accordingly how you can deal with the situation. It's not, again, such things are not something that you can say, okay, do this and it will work. It really depends. You really have to sit down with the client and ask them what it is about your relationship that's not going right. And sit down and and explore with them what is abuse to you. Do they even understand like what they're going through? Is it abuse or is it something else? And obviously then you will be guided through the right process of how to go about it. It's not something as simple as I will give you a solution and the next day you will not be abused anymore. But I think going through the right platforms, like approaching people like WAO, they would be in the right position to really guide you out of these situations.
Oh, I see. All right. So if any one of you know or face that kind of abusive, WAO,
Women's Aid Organization.
All right.
But really, like, if anyone is going through such a situation, don't allow yourself to just be stuck with that situation. Reach out for help because there are so many people out there willing to help, and they have the professional means of doing so. So take advantage. I'll tell you, like, from where I come from, people go through so much of domestic abuse, violence, but there isn't a proper way of reaching out. There aren't like professionals to help them come out of this, and so some of them just end up committing suicide. They just end up like succumbing to all that violence, that kind of abuse. So if we have that here in Malaysia, by all means, make use of it.
I see. Right. That's
Yeah.
how we cope with the abusive partner, and hopefully, um, we avoid with that person. We need to stay. Hopefully lah. Hopefully,
Yeah, we just
all of
reach
us
out for help.
reach out for
Yeah.
help. All right. Is it there's the question?
I'd like to ask you a question.
Okay. What? Where is it? Wow.
How have you been coping with COVID-19?
Okay. First of all, I'm like everyone. I'm also messed up. I mean, like, I still don't know what I'm going to do actually during this time, because I think there's a lot of time that I'm going to waste. So that is why I come out with this session. Stay connected. Yeah.
Yeah.
The first phase, I just connect with my friends from overseas, like UK, US, and several of the places. And then because what I know is because we just know the news about our country. I mean, like Malaysia. For me lah, I just know about the Malaysia situation. About other countries, I just know about the China and the top like US. That's it. About the other, we don't know how they cope with the situation. So that's how my first step, I reach them, because I'm the person who I just cannot sit silently. I mean, like quietly do nothing. I need to speak. I need to catch up with people.
Yeah.
So that's how I come up with this session like this. So I will find any person who are going to share like you, become my victim.
I think that's a great initiative. Like, I was so happy when you started doing this, and I think it's very important for us to speak out at such a time. So I think you've been coping really well, and you see, like, that's the amazing thing. We think that by being isolated, by not being able to go out, we think that, okay, we have been restricted to do something. But if we just try and be creative, there's so much that we can come up with.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you watch TikTok videos, but people are doing like really cool stuff on TikTok. But like, you see something like what you're doing, it's amazing because it really helps people come out, talk about important issues like this. So it's more about like, looking at the door of opportunity. This has really been given to us as a time for us to unplug. We're so busy with our lives and we're so disconnected from our families and friends. And I think this is the perfect time to, make use of it, because imagine when you come out of this pandemic, you don't want to look back and say, I regret not doing that. I regret not doing that. So, I mean, this is the perfect time. Do whatever you want to do. You have all the time in the world. So make full use of it.
Yes, sometimes, I what you call it, sometimes I think, what if we didn't working? Usually when we born, we go to school for study, and then after primary school, we go to high school, and after that university, and then after that working. So what are we doing actually? It's like we're working for money. Go work and then get money and then give it back to our family, and then that's it. And then what if we have all the money? And then we have all the money, and what do you want? What you are going to do? You need not to work anymore. So you have a lot of free time. So how did you use that all the time? So I think that thinking is applicable for the time being. Even though I got no so money lah, just a bit. But
who knows?
But we have a lot of plenty of time for the time being. So what are we going to do? So this is when this kind of thing happen. So we didn't know what to do. Because usually when we go for the the timeline, after about 60 or 50 years, you in this world, and then you retire. So that's how you cope with the for the rest of your time. But at that time, you don't have any energy. You just have money maybe, and then free time. So you want, if you want to go to travel all around, you cannot because you're already old. So That's my thinking right now.
Yeah, that's so true, and it's something that I struggle with till today. I just don't know how to sit and do nothing. Like, I just feel the need to be busy all the time, and that's not necessarily good. So when we're being given this time to just be, every time we're just doing, we're becoming human doings. We're not just, we don't know how to be human beings. We've become human doings. We have
Yeah.
forgotten how to just be. So you're right, it's very important to introduce that back into our lives.
I see. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think I want to ask you something before that. Okay, I forgot what I'm going to ask. Okay, is there any question? Okay, another one is from Valentine. Fake news are out and about during these stressful times. How can one cope and or overcome the impact of fake news?
I think when it comes to fake news, you have to really sit down and think for yourself which are the sources that you trust, and then stick with those sources. There's a lot of fake news going around, and I think it's one of the main reasons that's causing so much panic and anxiety among us.
That's right.
So I think there are a few reliable sources that we can always follow, so stick to those. But I'd say, like, do your research, like in-depth research, even generally, not just about COVID-19, but generally, if you are looking at news, there'll be so many sources out there that are giving different sorts of information. But there are definitely certain kinds of sources that are more reliable than others. So find out which those sources are and then stick to those.
I see.
And that's a really good way to limit the kind of information you're getting so that you're not overwhelmed by unnecessary information.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then one of the initiatives that by the media, they have a channel about in Malay word is pastikan sahih. I mean, like, make sure
Okay.
this is a genuine.
Yeah, yeah.
This is a slot, a slot.
Mhm.
So every news that come out with the social media in our social media, they will reveal and state this is fake, this is fake, and this is news. This is the true one.
Yeah. And I think us as youths, as students, it's our responsibility as well to filter this out and try and spread the right news. Like, we have this habit of just forwarding messages on WhatsApp, regardless of knowing whether it's true or not. So I think we really need to control that. We need to, like, find out, okay, is this true or not? And then, like, literally talk to the person who sent it to you and ask them, do you know if this news is reliable or not? And then, like, inform them, make them aware, educate them. So in that way, you'll not only be making a difference, but you'll be able to stop the spread of wrong information.
I see. Yeah, that's right. So another question from Arshanav. What is your message to everyone struggling during this moment?
I would say whoever is struggling during this moment, which is like everyone, hang in there. We're going to fight this together. And whatever you've been doing so far, give yourself credit for that, because even if it's the smallest thing you've done, it has contributed greatly to everyone's safety. So, I tell a lot of people that when you're trying to protect yourself from the virus, you might think that you're just saving yourself, but you're not realizing that you might be saving so many other people out there. And if you're just saving one person's life, you're in essence saving a whole nation's life. So imagine what a great impact that's having. And take it at your own pace, like whatever you're doing. Don't compare yourself with others. There are a lot of people who are, putting things up on like Instagram or Facebook, like, oh, I worked out today, like, an hour of workout, or I like cooked the most healthiest food today. It's okay, it's good. Take the good from it, be inspired by it, but don't compare yourself with other people's progress, especially at such a time. Because everyone's going through such a difficult period that it's just doesn't make sense to compare yourself with someone else at this point. So yeah, hang in there. It takes time to adapt to change, but this will end someday, and how it ends is entirely up to us. It's what role we play.
Yeah, that's true. Wow. Thank you for saying that. It's, you know, such a relief.
No problem.
All right, I think that question is the end of the question. because
Okay.
because you know, Instagram Live just provide is for about 60 minutes, just an hour,
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay.
we are reaching the end of the time. So, Tayyiba Sharif, thank you very much for accepting my invitation, for
No
sharing your
problem.
thoughts on the mental health issue during this COVID-19. So, thank you guys for joining us in this slot. Stay connected and
Yeah. Thank you so much.
enjoy your Ramadan Kareem and enjoy your Eid, inshallah.
And follow Sharid and nag him to be on his live because he does some really interesting stuff.
All right, thank you for your kind words.
All right. Thank
All right,
you.
thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye bye. Assalamualaikum. Inshallah, we will save this session on my IG. Okay.
Okay. Bye.
All right, that's it. Our conversation with Ms. Tayyiba Sharif, psychologist by profession, and I hope everyone, each of you get some, you know, insightful knowledge and info during our conversation. So thank you very much. And if you have any inquiries or any suggestion to improve my slot, so you can just reach out me. And thank you very much. See you in the next episode.